Joining me now is Tom Fitton, the president of Judicial Watch. Why do you want this particular document, Tom?
Well, it's being called the electronic communication, which suggests that there was intelligence from abroad that led to the infamous counterintelligence investigation, Spygate, targeting then-candidate Trump. Now, Devin Nunes has gotten a look at least a redacted version of this document, and he's concluded there was no intelligence. So was this another fraudulent document being raised up there to distract from the fact that there was no basis to investigate Trump? We want the information, and we've had to sue the Justice Department and the FBI to get it. And this is just one document we're asking for, and they don't want to even give us a redacted version of it.
They want to cover up and obstruct. Now, Judicial Watch has also been involved in trying to obtain emails and other communications between the maladroit ex-British spy Christopher Steele, who was peddling his phony dossier that helped initiate the probe, and the FISA warrants lying and spying. Talk to us about that.
Well, there are two big issues that have popped up in the last week. We've gotten new documents from the State Department, previously undisclosed, including classified material that Christopher Steele was sending to the State Department, his friends at the State Department under Barack Obama, between 2014 and 2016. I think it was at least, as I said, 2,000 documents, 2,000 reports on Russia. And so he was well positioned to go to the State Department during the campaign with his dirty dossier targeting President Trump, because he had this long-standing relationship. He may as well have had a desk at the State Department, given the numerous documents he was sending on Russia policy. You know, and remember, Steele wasn't just working for Hillary Clinton.
Right.
He was working for Russians on the other side, meaning Putin-affiliated Russians, on these issues. So,
and he was on the FBI payroll as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, those are other documents we found, Greg, that show that he was paid 11 times during the campaign by the FBI. He met with the FBI 13 times. He was paid 11 of those times.
Right. This guy's triple dipping. It's truly amazing. And he and the nefarious Glenn Simpson of Fusion GPS, who, by the way, has now invoked the Fifth, and good idea, Glenn, but a little late. These guys are peddling their phony dossier not just to the FBI, but they're peddling it to the Department of Justice, Bruce Orr, who then gives the information to Andrew Weissman in the summer of 2016, who ends up on the special counsel case. And Weissman was warned that this might be phony and fabricated. I mean, it's unbelievable that Mueller would hire a guy like Weissman.
Well, anyone who needed to know about the origins of the dossier and the specifics that it was political and unreliable knew, yet they used it anyway as a pretext to spy on President Trump. In many ways, it makes sense because, you know, Steele was probably using FBI-affiliated sources and informants to compose the dossier to begin with. We already have Jonathan Weiner, one of his key friends at the State Department, admit in a Washington Post op-ed he wrote a part of the dossier for Steele, based on information not from Steele, but from Sidney Blumenthal and Cody Shearer, who were two Clinton operatives.
Right. So the Clinton campaign and the Democratic National Committee are not only paying for the phony Russian disinformation, but they're also, their allies are contributing to the witch hunt, right?
The dossier is a product of the Clinton machine and the deep state. I predict in the end we're going to find there was, quote, no Russia intel behind it. It was all recycled material out of the FBI disinformation, CIA disinformation operations targeting Trump. It was all pretextual to spy on a candidate they didn't like and to protect a candidate they did like, Hillary Clinton.
I talked to a moment ago.
Now, in retrospect, now they were protecting more than Hillary. They're protecting Joe Biden as well, it looks like.
I talked a moment ago about Rod Rosenstein, who in one breath is saying to everybody, don't believe anonymous sources, and now we have documents that he was acting as an anonymous. He's not just a hypocrite, but he's the king of prevarication and deception. You know that Rosenstein is lying whenever he moves his lips. But I want to ask you about Andrew McCabe, who is now a full-time employee, a contributor to CNN, who this morning was suggesting that Michael Horowitz, the Inspector General, who made a criminal referral to the Department of Justice, and there may be an indictment against McCabe imminently. He thinks that, he ought to be replaced or removed. I mean, isn't that the desperate act or words of a guy who pretty much knows he's going down for the count?
Yeah, and especially given the fact that the DOJ has been protecting McCabe for 18-plus months now. Remember, the IG referred McCabe in April of 2018, and they still haven't figured out whether they're going to indict him or not. And as you pointed out, Greg, you noticed this in the IG report, there are recordations of McCabe lying to investigators.
Right. Yeah.
So give us the tapes.
Right. He made false statements at least twice, and then he's given a chance in a audio recording to correct those statements, and he doubles down on it. And, everybody knows this. CNN knew it. CNN knew that there's a criminal referral against the guy that CNN hired, and he's on, almost every day. This morning he's on talking about corruption. This guy is the symbol of corruption, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. And, and there's this big problem at the FBI and, frankly, the Justice Department. We had documents that included McCabe's misconduct showing that there were 14 FBI agents and senior officials like McCabe who improperly leaked classified, sensitive, or grand jury material. Not one of them were prosecuted. I think there was only one, and many of them got away with even a lighter punishment than the Office of Professional Responsibility recommended.
But CNN hired him, notwithstanding, probably because a month before the Mueller report came out, McCabe went on CNN and said, "Gee, I think the President of the United States is, may be a Russian agent." That is music to the ears of CNN, guaranteed to get you a job offer. To them, it's like Bach, Beethoven, and Mozart all rolled into one.
CNN is a partisan advocacy organization that sometimes commits journalism.
Accidentally.
It's, Judicial Watch is a more reliable provider of information and news than CNN on these core issues.
Thank you. Tom Fitton of Judicial Watch. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.